we're gonna hit record. All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. We are going to be talking about protein on today's episode. Welcome back to Friday Morning Fuel. This one should be pretty short and sweet today as we are flipping over a new leaf, thinking a bit more about some of our goals and the things that we want to accomplish for the year. You've probably been a little bit reflective towards your nutrition and your eating habits. So today we're going to be talking about protein, how to get more of it into your diet, and a couple of very easy swaps to make this a very manageable transition. So diving right in, I'm sure you've heard this many times from either myself on this show or just through your own experience out across the world. Protein is pretty essential to human performance, and not just in or after the gym. Protein plays a huge role in neurotransmitter production. So what are neurotransmitters? Neurotransmitters are like the brain's messengers. They play a key role in controlling mood, focus, energy levels, and sleep. In the workplace, they keep you sharp, helping you concentrate, make decisions, handle stress effectively. It's pretty common that most people don't know what their protein goals should be, and even more fail to hit their protein goal. So today is going to be a very simplified takeaway of how much protein do we need, and a couple of easy swaps, as well as what it could look like across a day. So let's start with how much protein I need. There's lots of science and formulas we could dive into, but I'm going to simplify this down for two different people. So if you weigh more than 150 pounds, generally the more you weigh, the more protein nutrients you're going to need overall. If you weigh more than 150 pounds, you are going to aim for 40 to 60 grams of protein per meal and 20 to 30 grams per snack. All right, that's if you weigh more than 150 pounds. If you weigh less than 150 pounds, we're going to modify those numbers just a little bit. If you weigh under 150, you're going to shoot for about 20 to 40 grams per meal and about 10 to 20 grams per snack. All right. So we've thrown out some numbers. We're going to use that again. It's just a simplified baseline for today. Thinking about what is a serving of protein. So one serving of protein by mass is around 21 grams. And protein is generally going to come from animal-based sources and a couple of plant-based sources as well. So one serving of protein is generally considered 3 ounces of meat or fish, 2 eggs, 3/4 cup of Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, a scoop of protein powder. As an example for some animal-based sources, for some of your protein-based sources, things like your tempeh, your tofu, your soy products, edamame, those kinds of things. Same thing, you're going to be looking to about 3/4 to 1 cup a serving of those. All right, so this next section here, we're going to dive in and talk about ways that you can add and then things that you can swap. So again, we're talking about very, very simplified nutrition concepts. If you want something a bit more specific, there's lots of research out there, and I'm going to show you some of the things that have helped me along this journey. So hopefully you can get a little bit more tips and tricks along the way. All right. If you're just now joining us, thank you. Hope you had a wonderful holiday, and we are talking about protein. So we're going to go into our adds and our swaps. So rule number 1, don't overcomplicate it. Look for simple ways to add or swap ingredients in meals you already eat to boost your protein intake. So again, that pretty much just says it all. Just don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. The KISS protocol, that's the easiest way to make this the most just seamless transition. And I will go even a step further. For most people, probably the easier thing to do if you don't want to go out and buy a ton of different protein sources is to just double what you're already consuming. And we'll get into more of that a little bit later. So we're going to take a look at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if you'll recall, if you are over 150 pounds, because we do protein goals based by weight, mass of a body, If you are over 150, you're going to be shooting for a much, much higher target versus if you are under 150. Again, for reference, it's 40 to 60 grams of protein per meal for over 150, and it's 20 to 40 grams per meal for under 150. Snacks, going to be a little bit smaller quantity, so again, we're going to dial it down. If you are over 150, the snacks are going to be anywhere from 20 to 30 grams per meal, and if you are under 150, it's going to be about 10 to 20 grams per meal. All right, so some examples of how you can add or swap out the things that you are already eating at breakfast time. So, option number one, if you are somebody who enjoys your bagel, your toast, your English muffin, great. I love all those things. They are yummy. They are delicious. However, they are incredibly lacking in protein. Easy swap is just to add 2 eggs. That'll get you another 12 grams of protein. And honestly, in this day and age, there are a lot of high protein baked goods. So you can find high protein bagels, English muffins, if that's your jam. But easy place to start is adding 2 eggs to your carb heavy breakfast. All right, if you are somebody who likes smoothies, I love smoothies. If you are somebody who likes smoothies, super easy is to just take a scoop of protein powder. A scoop of protein powder, depending on the brand and the source, is going to be anywhere from 20 to 30 grams. And that'll just really get you started strong on the day with your protein intake. All right, if you are somebody who prefers simple, basic, I want it in a bowl, I want to just open my box of cereal, pour it, and eat it, I get you. I love cereal myself. In fact, I ate a lot of cereal last week because that was just how I wanted to go through my holidays. But I would suggest maybe swapping your cereal for a cup of Greek yogurt. That's going to get you about 20 grams of protein, and even better, you can add in some berries and some nuts for a boost of healthy fats, antioxidants, and some fiber. And then lastly, if maybe you're super into your fitness and you really like looking at all the stuff on social media and TikTok and Instagram for inspiration, you've probably seen the cottage cheese hack. So adding cottage cheese into your scrambled eggs or omelets can add about another 15 grams of protein. All right, before I go onward into our lunch and our dinner, I want you to just sit with that and think about some of those options that we've listed and see which ones fit in well with you and your eating style. If you are somebody who's probably not consuming a lot of protein right now, and that feels like a lot, I'm going to coach it the same way that we do fiber, is start to gradually increase your intake. So if you are somebody who's going from probably no protein at breakfast, so maybe 5-10 grams, and you're making a jump to 40 grams, guess what? You're going to feel very full and potentially maybe a little bit of digestive comfort. We're all a little bit different. So if it feels overwhelming to add 2 eggs to your bagel, try with 1 egg. Or maybe a little bit lighter, try an egg and some egg whites. So the goal is just to gradually adjust, and your body will adapt to this. So just give it some time, keep it simple. Don't feel like you need to go full speed into hitting 60 grams of protein in a meal, because I gotta say, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. All right, let's move along and talk about lunch. Again, we're talking about adds and swaps that you can do with just simple ingredients of things you already consume. All right, for your lunch, who loves pasta salad? Or just taking pasta, to work, having it for dinner or for lunch. So pretty common hack here is to swap your typical pasta with a chickpea or a lentil pasta brand. So I will say a couple of sub-bullet points about the plant-based pasta here. So yes, the chickpea and the lentil brand pasta, very high in protein, about 12 to 15 grams per serving. Also very, very high in fiber. So from the nutrition label, powerhouse, absolutely great. However, if you have never consumed these types of products before, it's probably going to be a little bit of a contrast on your palate. That is something that we experienced when we first got into cooking pastas and swapping them out for those plant-based brands, because we totally wanted to get more fiber and more protein, and we can have it in our carbs. Yum. Okay, so my recommendation here is mix a little bit of half and half, or even do like 3/4, 1/4, but slowly start to integrate because it is going to have a very different taste and texture. And I don't want you to be disappointed and turned off by it. Just take your time, ease into it. We don't need to go full cannonball into the deep end. We can start by just putting our feet in the water, acclimating, and then going a little bit deeper as we get more comfortable and familiar. All right, we're gonna circle it back to eggs. Eggs are a classic in your salads. If you are somebody who likes to pack a little salad, or if you enjoy the salad bar, if it's available at your work in your cafeteria, adding a hard-boiled egg or two could add anywhere from 6 to 12 grams of protein. Similarly, you could also go with cottage cheese. If you were perusing a salad bar, most frequently they will have cottage cheese options available. That's about a half cup serving based on that scooper there. Again, the cottage cheese will get you about 14 grams of protein, and you don't need to put it on your salad. You can just have it on the side. And then lastly, let's talk about our classic sandwich. Everybody loves a sandwich. I love sandwiches. This is a nice, really easy swap. Is you can swap out your deli meats for some grilled chicken or some turkey breast that you have cooked yourself. That's going to increase your protein intake to 25 to 28 grams per 3 ounces in your sandwich or wrap. Again, if it's something you're just not quite ready for, maybe you just swap your deli meat, because they do have like shaved turkey and shaved grilled chicken as an option in the deli section. So maybe we switch from our bologna, salami, our heavier kind of flavorful meats, and then go to something a little bit lighter, a little bit leaner. Okay. Let's move it right along and bring it up with dinner. All right. Brandy in the comments says that her latest fixation is tuna. Yes, I feel like I'm surprised tuna is not an option on this list. It comes in many forms and very convenient forms too. It comes in packets, it comes in cans. You can just rip it open and go. Even if you don't have a can opener, a great option there. Yes, Brandy, to add that in. All right, so let's talk about some more plant-based options for my vegetarian, my vegan eaters, or maybe you are playing with your nutrition this year and that's what you want to explore more of, is more plant-based meals. All right, so adding in some tempeh or tofu to your stir fries and vegetable dishes can increase your protein intake by about 15 to 20 grams per serving. Tempeh is fermented soybeans. You can generally find it in your grocery store. You can check a couple of different places. I think it's most commonly around where your produce is and where they keep like the tofu and those kinds of things. I haven't really seen it in the freezer section, but don't quote me on that. Everybody shops at different stores and availability is different everywhere. I will say, as another just, again, coaching note for the plant-based sources, it's just like your animal-based proteins. If you've ever just had plain chicken, it's not very appetizing, and chicken is so, we'll say clean slate. Like, it doesn't have really like a ton of flavor, but it's a great vessel for spices, seasonings, sauces, etc. I would recommend the same thing with your plant-based sources if you have never had tofu or tempeh before. Again, it's really good in those like stir fries where you already have a sauce that's kind of like the base and bringing it all together. So that's my recommendation with your plant-based proteins. Definitely season or sauce it. All right, this is going to be a swap, but swapping out ground beef with ground turkey or lean ground chicken in tacos or spaghetti. So again, it's going to be different for every household. I think this is a great one generally because ground beef does tend to be a little bit higher in fat. That's not to say that it is lower in protein. It's about the same in protein. It's just a little bit of a leaner source of your protein. There's also probably a cost consideration. So when you're shopping around, just take a look at what's available and what's on sale as well. Don't feel like you need to go out and get like the grass-fed, free-range, organic, highest value ground meat, whether it's your beef or your turkey. Do what works for you. Just take a quick look at your nutrition label and check out the protein content. Ideally, we want to see around 25 grams protein per 3 ounces for those ground meats. All right, and one more plant-based option here. We're gonna talk about quinoa. So quinoa is a grain. It looks like little pearl bees, like similar to couscous, but it cooks up just like rice. You let it soak, you let it get to a boil, and then it absorbs all of that water. Quinoa is a very high protein grain. As far as grains go, 8 grams of protein per cup a serving for quinoa. You could also use edamame, which is either in the pod or shelled soybeans. Again, you can find those in the grocery store, and you get about 8 grams of protein per half cup. Add it to your rice bowls, add it to your veggie bowls. Nice little, and you get a boost of some fiber as well through your grains and through your plant-based sources. Okay, so we've gone through rapid fire, a lot of information. So let's tie it all together and see what it actually looks like throughout the day. And I'm going to integrate here one of the tricks that I use to help me build this out. So when it comes to tracking nutrition, there's a couple of schools of thought of how we can do this. So most people are familiar with the idea of tracking calories. So calories would be like if you were looking at a budget and you were just looking at the overall bottom line of what is our nets, what are our losses. That's what calories is looking at like the big picture. The other school of thought we can go into is macro counting, and that's like looking at the different components of your budget. So if you're looking at your household budget, how much is your rent? How much is your utilities? How much are you spending on food? So it's a bit more zoomed in picture, and neither are wrong. It's just different ways to do the same goal. All right, and so when we're tracking our macros, again, this is all done by weight, and we talked about, I'll say it again, for if you are over 150 pounds and if you're under 150 pounds, again, a very simplified way to think about it is your meals are going to be the bulk of your protein. Again, 40 to 60 grams for those of you over 150, and about, 20 to 40 grams for those of you under 150. And if you do the math out for that for 3 meals, I mean, that's anywhere from 120 to 180 grams. So if you're like me and you get bogged down into this is a lot of numbers to remember, one of the things that I used to help me build out what we're going to do today was I actually used AI, but I will caution and say that I do have the knowledge of what to ask the AI, so I'm going to share that with you now. So first couple of things is I would recommend looking on the internet for some kind of what we call a TDEE, so total daily energy expenditure calculator. So this will give you an idea of overall what you should be consuming for your goals, whether you're trying to gain weight, maintain weight, or lose weight. From there, what you'll want to parse out is your lean body mass. So you're going to need a scale, and you're going to need kind of roughly some measurement device, whether it's a handheld or calipers. You can come by and see us. Get your body fat percentage to determine what your lean body mass is. So that's how much muscle mass you have. That's probably a really simplified way to put it. All right, from there, that's how we calculate those protein numbers. And again, those ranges are so wide because there's lots of different weight categories above 150 and below 150. All right, so what I popped into my chat GPT was I asked it to build me a meal plan with 3 meals, 2 snacks, and I wanted to hit what you're going to see today is goals that I plugged in for myself. This is not something that you need to do, but what we're going to go through in a day of eating is about 220 grams of protein. So this is a very high-end example for somebody who's really active, putting on a lot of muscle, just really looking to improve lean body mass, which should be most everybody here. All right, so what I asked for was I asked it to do the 3 meals, asked it to do 2 snacks, and I gave it by rough macro splits. So I asked it to do this amount of protein, this amount of carbs, and this amount of fat. And if you do the math, your calories for each of your budget categories, so for your protein, your carbs, and your fat, roughly comes up to the same number as if you were tracking just calories. It could be slightly off, but that's the general idea. All right, so aiming for 40 to 60 grams of protein per meal and 20 to 30 grams per snack. I know this looks kind of sad just seeing it as just protein sources, but it looks a lot fuller once you add in, like, again, your carbs and your fats, etc. So starting with breakfast, we are going to hit it hard. Breakfast is going to be 4 large eggs, 1 cup of Greek yogurt. Again, we are aiming for 40 to 60 grams of protein. If this feels like a lot of food, remember what we said earlier, we're going to start small. Add in a little bit here and there. No need for you to go full on like the most you can handle because you probably won't be hungry for a very long time for the rest of the day. Then we move on to our mid-morning snack. Mid-morning snack is going to have a 1/2 cup of cottage cheese along with some other, again, balanced nutrients. I would not just eat this as a snack by itself. Going on to our lunch and dinner, I have the same protein sources just because that was easier for demonstration for today, but 6 ounces of grilled chicken. Again, you can kind of see it's a large amount of chicken, and this is weighed after I have cooked it, not before I have cooked it. And then my afternoon snack would be a scoop of protein powder mixed with either water or almond milk and a little bit more. So that was pretty much going to wrap it up for today, you guys. This is just a quick example of what a day of eating could look like when you're trying to hit heavy on those protein goals. Thank you guys so much for joining. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. We will be back next month. We're going to talk about the foundations of weight loss, and that'll be on February 7th. This was a great starting place because we are going to continue to talk about protein. Very important when it comes to the context of weight loss goals. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, we're gonna
stop that. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to check the comments here, see if we have anything else. I know Brandy talked about the nice protein. Yeah. Tuna melts. Yum. That sounds so good. All right. Any questions before my audience logs off today? I probably should have done that sooner. Or if you think of something afterwards, feel free to just message me on Teams. I'd be more than happy to carry on a further conversation about protein and protein goals. Other than that, you ladies have an incredible weekend, and we'll see you guys next time. Now I'm ready for breakfast. Yeah. Nap time. So you're gonna leave in about an hour?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Baby cakes. Oh, the veggies. I thought this still had the oatmeal in it, and I was like, what the fuck am I cleaning out of this pan?
Oh, yeah. Veggies.
Alright, there we go. There's that. There's that. One kiss is all it takes. Ooh. Alright, while that's heating up, let me go ahead and break this down because this is like my least favorite thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, how many did we get?